And then you can go ahead. You'll be able to unmute yourselves when it comes time to ask questions and such. All right. So, well, I want to, my name is Troy, and I am an advanced director on the Bizarre Bullet Train. And I'm really excited that all you guys are here today and taking the time to invest in your business. So I just want to start by saying thank you for that. And you know, I can tell you that when you take the time to invest in your business, you're going to see results. So I'm excited that you're here, and we will get started. So, whoops. So what I want to start out with is our recipe for success. I don't know if everyone here has already received your kit. Have you guys already received your kits? Yes, no, maybe yes. Okay. Okay, fantastic. So, alrighty. So that's great. So what I want to make sure, okay, it looks like Nancy doesn't have sound from what I can see here. Hopefully that will get figured out. So, in your kit came this recipe for success book. I'm hoping that this looks familiar to some of you. Does this look familiar? Yes. Okay, fantastic. Great, Lynn. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, so we're actually going to be going through some of the points here. We're going to be hitting on some of the things that are in this book because they're super important. We want to make sure that you're able to refer to it. So what I wanted to do was I would love to start with a little bit about, you know, if you could each introduce yourself and say why you got started with Pampered Chef. I would love to start there and know more about that. So who'd like to start? Okay, so I'm gonna just, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute Linda. And would you be willing to start?
Sure.
Okay, great.
I've been a big fan of the products for years, you know, and I know that they're quality products, and that, to me, that's a big deal. I'm quite a bit of a foodie, you know, which is not the same thing as a gourmet, but I get into the process of the cooking.
Awesome.
And, you know, I've been trying lately to eat a lot cleaner and a lot healthier. And, you know, I'd like to, you know, be able to share that with my friends as well. And this seemed like a good opportunity to.
Awesome. Very, very cool. And are you working outside the home right now?
No, I'm 100% disabled, unemployable, disabled veteran.
Oh, okay. Well, we're really glad you're here because this gives you kind of an opportunity to be able to earn some extra income, clearly with items that you know and love already. So that's fantastic. And just if you could also share, what are you hoping to achieve with your Pampered Chef business? Are you hoping to achieve like paying off a debt or having extra money to save for something in particular?
Well, paying off debt's good. It seems like, you know, there's always more a month than there is money. And, you know, usually my husband's ticked off because I've gone through, I only get paid once a month, and I go through it in a few days.
Sure.
But also I'm heavy into quilting, and that's my other hobby. And he doesn't know how much money I spend on fabric.
Nice. Okay. So you're using this to fund your quilting hobby. There's no problem. Fantastic. Thank you, Linda. Who wants to go next? Go ahead and unmute yourself in the bottom left. Or I can unmute you if you would like. Nicole, do you want to go next? Are you able to?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I can go next. Let's see. I have been an avid Pampered Chef lover and user for 10 plus years now. I've hosted many parties, known many consultants, and just decided to bite the bullet and do it. I had a baby in February, and medical bills, debt are piling up. So might as well do it and do something I love while doing it.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Nancy, can you hear us now? Yay. Okay. And I see that you're muted. So go ahead. I'll unmute you, Nancy. Can you share with us why you decided to join Pampered Chef and what you want your Pampered Chef business to do for you?
I joined because I love, number one, I love Pampered Chef. I've had for over 20 years. And my husband doesn't understand why I want to sell it because he says you've got everything here now. You don't
But
need more
there's always new stuff.
I know, that's what I told Stick, a whipped cream maker on you. I really need that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just, I love to bake and cook. And I'm going to do virtual parties only for now.
Okay.
I'm retired. I'm raising 2 grandchildren, and with church and everything else, that's what I've got in my schedule is virtual parties.
Awesome. Very good. Well, cool. Well, we're glad you're here. Awesome. Thank you. Lynn, how about you?
So the when Claudia first asked me about it, my first response was, I don't have time or energy for it. And then I asked her to send me the information on what it would take to get set up. And the first thing that grabbed my attention was the excellent value in getting all the product for the starter kit. So that was the big incentive initially. And then taking a look at the others, I already had my first party set up, and kind of taking a look at the commission. Even if I just did it for the initial discounts and the values, it's already been a good decision for us. And then I have a lot of family and friends who really like Pampered Chef. And so it's really easy to just give them a catalog and say, hey, if you need anything, you can just order it through me. And so a lot of my family and friends are excited to have someone they can order from instead of trying to just wait for the next party to come around.
Awesome. Very cool. And so just out of curiosity, let me go to, is it Dory that's on the phone? Oh, hang on. Let me unmute you. Dory, you're unmuted. If I have your name right.
Darcy.
Darcy, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay,
That's
Darcy.
okay.
Go ahead. If you could share why you decided to start a Pampered Chef business and what you hope to get out of your Pampered Chef business, we would love that.
Yeah. Well, my husband and I just moved to Germany about a month ago, military family, and we have an 18-month-old son. And we've been debating on back and forth whether I would go back to work or not. Of course, if I go back to work, then you have to worry about childcare and, yada, yada, yada. So this opportunity came up, and, after talking to Claudia with it and, the possibilities, it seemed like absolutely the best choice for us. So
awesome. And what do you hope to accomplish with your Pampered Chef business? Is there a particular?
Well, we're in Europe, and we want to see Europe.
Nice. Okay, so you're going to be using your Pampered Chef business is going to fund travel then.
Travel fund, exactly.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. So what I'm hearing today is that there are a lot of you here who have hosted plenty of times in the past. And I can relate to that. I have been buying Pampered Chef since 2009, and I just started my business in 2015. What I would like to know, and you guys can unmute yourselves for this, is how many times were you asked to join Pampered Chef before you said yes? Because clearly there's a lot of people that have been hosting for years and years. So how many times were you asked to join before you said yes?
I think Claudia asked me 3 in the last year.
Oh, only 3. Okay. All righty. Who else? Who else has an idea of how many times you were asked?
Just once.
Just once. Okay. Lynn, you knew that you wanted to do it. You went for it. Nancy, if you need some help here, I'll unmute you here. Go ahead, Nancy. You look like you wanted to say something.
Too many to count over the years because I've gone to a lot of parties. I've hosted a lot of parties, and just every time, but it's just never been the right time.
Okay. Fantastic. And Darcy, how many times were you asked before you said yes?
I think I was only actually asked twice.
Okay.
It wasn't a hard thing for me.
Okay, good. That's good. Okay, so just so you know, these numbers that I'm hearing on this call today are kind of low. It's pretty normal. Well, Nancy obviously was asked a lot over the years. What about, Nicole, you said you've also hosted a lot and you've been in love with the products for years. Although she may not be able to talk because she's multitasking. But I have a feeling she was probably asked at least 6 or 7 times. And I throw that out there because it's pretty normal to ask people many times, to hear lots of no's from the same people before someone says yes. So Nicole, I know I see you're back on with us. If you could share with us, can you think of about how many times you were asked to start your own Pampered Chef business or to join Pampered Chef? Do you have any idea how many times you were asked before you said yes?
Let's see. I had a consultant that I worked with regularly in Connecticut when I lived in Connecticut, and she was always asking me every time there was a special. She's like, I know you'd be great at it. Just you need to do it. You need to do it. So probably at least 10 or 15 times.
Okay. There we go. That was the answer I was looking for. So it's important to note that really, like, and many of the people here, everyone said that you, at least 3 of the people on this call have said they've been hosting for years and years, and now is when they've decided to join Pampered Chef. So the thing that's important to know is that to start your conversations with your friends and family about joining your team, start that right away so that you can get their first no's out of the way, because they're going to say no to begin with. Totally normal. And you can get the first no's out of the way so that you can build up to getting to those 15 or 16 that Nicole does, and you can do it quickly without it having to take multiple consultants to make that happen. So I'm veering off the script just a little bit for that, but I really want to share that because look how many people have been hosting and around Pampered Chef products for so long, and here we are just starting. So just so you know, I mentioned I've been buying the product since 2009. I started my business a year and a half ago, and there were 2 people on here that said you had little ones. That's why I started. My son was 11 months old. He's our miracle baby. And I started just so that I could have adult conversation and wear dangly earrings once in a while. Like, that was the entire reason I started. I was at home with him. We were stationed overseas at the time. And my goal was just to have adult conversation a couple times a week. And then I realized that this is an opportunity that can really provide a substantial income for our family. And my husband we found out last summer that he'd be getting out of the military around the end of the year. And so I contacted Claudia and said, you know what, I need to step up my game a little bit and turn this into more of a business than a hobby. So I'm still here because this is a business that's actually helping provide for us, especially during a time of transition. And now it's allowing my son to go to preschool, which is really kind of cool. So my first month with the company, I made $521 doing 3 shows. So I left the house 3 times. That was in February of 2015. And then February of this year, my paycheck was over $1,600. And so I more than tripled my income in a year. So I share that because I'm not like some superstar rock star that's like, like I'm just a regular person like you. And if I can do this, I totally know that you can do this. And, Claudia, you may have heard Claudia's story. Claudia has a really amazing story. When she moved back from Korea, her first month, which was January of 2015, she had a $600 paycheck. And November of the same year of 2015, she had a $4,000 paycheck. And now she's making over $5,000 a month. So, I mean, if this is something that you see being able to, you can do a lot of traveling with $5,000 a month. But I really want to invite you to dream big. Because now some of you may know who Donna Landy is. She is our senior executive director. And she sold $4,600 in 1 month by doing 5 cooking shows and 3 virtual parties. So she only left her house 5 times, but she earned $10,000. So I kind of want you to dream a little. And as we're going in, I think it's on page 7 of your Recipe for Success book, it has the opportunity to really start writing down some of your dreams. So if you were to write down $10,000, what would you do with $10,000 if you earned it each and every month? How would that benefit your family? How would that affect your family? So I really want to invite you to dream big because you really have a ground floor opportunity here, and everything is possible with your business. So really think about and take 2 to 3 minutes, or a minute really, for those of you that have your recipe for success, go to page 7. Go ahead and write down, what would you do if you had an extra $4,000 per month or an extra $10,000 a month? What would you do with that? What would that mean to your family? And go ahead, and when you do that, you can snap a picture with your phone and send it to your director. Okay, so the other thing on this page, so on page 7, so in order to do that, so we're hearing like, how do you sell $4,600 and earn $10,000, right? So here's the thing. We earn income in 2 ways. Number 1 is by selling products and doing shows. And 2 is by building a team and sharing our business with others, right? So here we actually give ourselves a raise. There's lots of ways we can give ourselves a raise in this process. Building a team is going to be one of the main ways you can do that. And doing shows and having higher sales each month is another way you give yourself a raise. I don't know if you know this, but once, we start out at 20% at the beginning of the month, right? That's 20%. We get paid 20% of our sales. But when we hit $750, we get a 1% increase. When we hit $1,250, we get another increase. When we invite someone to join our team and they also have their show, we also get another raise. So there's lots, someone smart once said, a little bit of a lot adds up to a lot. So when we're talking about like those incremental raises, that could start to look like, an extra $40 or $50 a month, right? That might not sound like a whole lot, but over a year, right? That's a car payment. Right, that's $600. That's that could be a car payment. That could be clearing out a credit card. That could be, depending on what your goals are. That could be an extra way to meet your goal by just doing what you're already doing. Right. So we're all about working smarter, not harder. So the other thing I want to draw your attention to is that in the first 90 days, you have lots of opportunities to earn bonus rewards. Okay, so you're going to earn income, and on top of your check, and someone, I think it was Linda, said you get paid once a month. Well, Pampered Chef, we get paid twice a month. We get paid on the 7th and on the 21st. And if you're overseas, that might lag to the 8th and the 22nd, but twice a month. And so in your first 90 days, though, you're also going to earn 100 PC dollars, Pampered Chef dollars, for every $1,250 in sales. So our goal for everyone really is to make that $1,250 in your first 2 shows, right? I'm sure you've heard that from Claudia. Is we really want you to make that $1,250 in your first 2 shows so that you can immediately enjoy your bonus, because every month we have a sign-on bonus, right? So this, if you've joined in November, your sign-on bonus might be, I think it's a deep cover baker, but every month we have a different sign-on bonus. And so you'll earn your sign-on bonus, and on top of that, you'll also earn 100 Pampered Chef dollars. So and in your first 90 days, every $1,250 you sell, you get 100 Pampered Chef dollars. So that's awesome, because now, first of all, you guys have amazing kits that we didn't have when I started. But you can spend that 100 Pampered Chef dollars on anything you want. And if you're spending it on new product, you're actually almost like doubling it, because you can get $200 worth of product for 100 Pampered Chef dollars. Or you can use it towards, purchasing catalogs and supplies. You can use it for anything Pampered Chef. So I think, so that's really exciting. And we also, like I mentioned, we're also able to get commissionable increases on our commission. The other thing is we have a program called Fast Track to Director. And our Fast Track to Director program, which is kind of mentioned, I think it's touched on in here. But our Fast Track to Director program will, if you decide to do that, you definitely want to talk to Claudia. And if you want more information, make sure you set up a coaching call with your director. But with our Fast Track to Director program, you actually have the opportunity to earn between $500 and $2,000 in bonuses in your first 6 months in the business. And that $500 bonus is available to you within your first 30 to 90 days. So again, we are all about working smarter, not harder. And the way to earn those bonuses is really all about just building a team. So we want you to be able to plan for a successful start. And the way to do that and the way to launch yourself to go into that Fast Track to Director program so that you can earn those extra bonuses is you want to do at least 6 shows in your first 30 days. All right. So some of you probably already have bookings on your calendar. Can you tell me who here has like 3 to 4 bookings on your calendar? Can you raise your hand? Okay, Lynn, Nicole, awesome. Okay, can you unmute? Can you tell us how you got those bookings or how you set them up?
At first, I reached out to family and friends and told them, listen, I'm starting this new business. Can you help me out and host a show? I also posted it on Facebook and asked people, hey, we're doing virtual parties now. You don't need to do it in-home if you don't want to. And I reached a lot of people that way. I think I have 2 in-home and 6 or 7 virtuals and a vendor fair for the holidays so far.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. Okay, perfect. Lynn, how about you?
So by the end of my party, I had 2 guests that wanted to have their own party. And then I had already passed around the catalog to a bunch of coworkers. And so there was one coworker who would like to have a party. And then there was about 5 to 8 people who couldn't come to the Pampered Chef party. And so they said that they would like to still put it in order and schedule a host, a time to host. So
awesome. Very good. So that's wonderful. So that's awesome. So you definitely want to start with your friends and family, and then you want to get out of that circle as quickly as possible, right? So so one of the things is, have you guys all done a Facebook launch party yet? Yep, some of you have. Some of you haven't. Okay, so the first thing to do is your own Facebook launch party, and you can talk to your director about helping you set that up. And you want to do that and 1 cooking show within your first 7 to 10 days in the business. Okay, so that can be something where you invite your friends over to your house if you want to do your first cooking show at home, or it's important to practice, and it's also nice to be able to practice in front of people that love you and don't care how badly you mess up. Right? And I will tell you that at we're pampered chefs, we're not perfect chefs. So when we're at a party, I promise you, people will still buy things even if we burn the food. Okay? We're not perfect. But it feels so much better when we're doing those first parties around people that we know, and that we know that we can be silly or mess up and they're still going to love us anyway. So the other thing is, so you want to have 2 local friends to have either a cooking or a virtual show for you, and 2 long distance friends or family to have a virtual show for you. So that's a way that you can easily, if you don't have your parties on your calendar, that you can do that, that you can set that up. There, in your Recipe for Success, there is a page that you're actually going to fill out who you know. You may have even gotten your launch list. You want to make sure that you take the time to write in here your launch list of all of the people that you know in the different categories of your life, because that is kind of going to help you get ideas of who to contact to have shows for you in the beginning of your business. So the other thing we recommend is that while you're doing your first virtual show, your virtual launch party, which your director will or your recruiter will probably be running for you, right, is that you have another show going at the same time, so that as the posts are going in your party, you can copy and paste those same posts into your first host's party. Okay, so we talk about that because it's kind of like when you are in an airplane, right? We're launching your business. So when you're in an airplane, like, you don't go from the runway to 30,000 feet, right? When you're in an airplane, the airplane starts on the tarmac and it starts moving and it starts kind of slow and then it picks up speed and then it launches up and then it's got to continue to pick up speed until it hits that 30,000 feet and then it can kind of cruise a little bit, right? So that's why no matter what you want to get out of your business, no matter what dollar amount you want to make, whether you want to make $200 a month or $2,000 a month, we definitely recommend that you start with those 6 shows in your first 30 days. And then that will help you bring your business up to the level that you want it to be, no matter what that level is. Does that make sense? I still have you guys? Okay, great. So, terrific. So your next goal is to get at least 2 bookings from every show. So 2 bookings means your business is growing and thriving. 1 booking at every show kind of means you're going backwards a little bit, because there's actually if you look on the Bizarre Bullet Train page, there's actually from Stacy Itzel, there's a great illustration where she literally marks out the difference between getting 1 show and 2 shows on your calendar. When you're getting 2 shows on your calendar from every show, you are growing your business. You're replacing the show you just did, and it's going to put you in front of more people, which will automatically, you're going to find people that want to do this business, right? So the more people you're in front of, the more opportunity there is for that, and the more opportunity there is to grow. So just to give you a quick reference, if you have 4 shows on your calendar for this month and you get 2 for every show, next month you're going to have 8 shows on your calendar. And if you get 2 from every show on your second month of business, you're going to have 16 shows on your calendar. Now, don't think like that's crazy, I could never do 16 shows. That's fine. You probably won't be doing 16 shows, because what's going to happen along the way is people are going to join your team, and some of those shows are going to go to them because it's their friends and family that are booking those shows, right? So don't feel like, I can't do that because I'm going to have too many shows in 3 months. Don't worry about that. But if you have 4 shows on your calendar, the other thing is you can always count on, maybe 2 shows to cancel. It's just what we can expect in this business. It's the way it works. And if you have, 10 shows on your calendar, if 2 cancel, this is not going to affect your pocketbook, right? Because you're still going to be meeting the goals that you want for your business. But if you have 1 show on your calendar, so let's say your first month of business, you have 4 shows, and your second month of business, you have 4 shows. But like I said, it's pretty normal for a couple of shows to drop off. People's, kids get sick or something happens and people need to cancel last minute. It's totally normal. But then you only have 2 shows in your second month of business. And then in your third month of business, if you book 1 show from those 2 shows, you only have 2 shows in your third month of business. But then if you have 2 shows canceled, then you have 0 shows on your business. So does that make sense why it's important to get 2 bookings from every show? Okay. Okay, good. I just want to make sure, because I don't have like a graphic with it. So that's really important. So the other thing is making contacts and outreaches. And guys, I'm just gonna zip through some of this really quickly. We have a tracker that we have available. You should have received an email with it. It's also available on our team pages. So whether it's Bizarre Bullet Train or Team Growing Tree, those trackers are available on those pages. You want to make sure to print 3 copies of the trackers so that you can start scheduling like for this month and the next 2 months. And you can include everything. You can include your cooking shows, your virtual shows, any bridal showers or fundraisers, catalog parties, virtual parties, vendor events, all of that. You want to have everything filled out. And then you want to send that to your director. You want to send a picture of that for your next call, because everybody who's on here should be scheduling a call with your director or your recruiter. And you should also be making sure to connect with your director or your recruiter before and or after your first 8 parties. And that's so that we can help make sure that you're getting off to a great start. And if there are things that are not working in the beginning, we can infuse some ideas to help make things work. And then also when you're doing things that are working, to help build on them right away. So that's really important, is to make sure that you're scheduling those calls. The other thing is, you can start out real easy with just a spiral notebook, or if you're a techie person and you want to use Evernote or some sort of electronic notepad, you can do that. But you want to keep a log of everyone that you contact regarding booking a show or joining your Pampered Chef team. We actually even have a tracker for that. So if you would like that and you don't see it, please let your recruiter know and we will send it to you. But what you want to do, if you're just using a notebook, on the left, write down all the contact information, and on the right, keep a track of their responses. So you're going to review this notebook weekly with your director. And the most successful consultants will make at least 15 contacts each week. And many new consultants will make 30 to 40 contacts in a week to jumpstart their business, just like that plane, right? So just trying to get you up to that cruising altitude as soon as possible. So a contact is anyone that you have a two-way conversation with, whether it's phone, text, Facebook, whatever, email. And when where you've specifically and individually and directly asked them if they would like to learn more about the business or want to have a show. And I really recommend that you lead with if they want to learn more about the business. And I know that might sound a little bit backwards and uncomfortable, but again, we can count on getting a bunch of no's from people before they say yes. It's pretty normal. So let's get the no's out of the way first about the business. And then once they've already said no, then they can start thinking about saying yes, right? So again, these contacts are people that you've actually connected about and asked specifically about wanting to learn about the business or wanting to have a show. And you log all of those outreaches and you track who becomes a contact when they respond. So if you've outreached and you've left a message, that's not considered a contact. But on average, you'll have to make at least 10 contacts to book a show. So that's why we're talking about 30 or 40 you want to make sure to get those 15 contacts, you're doing at least 30 to 40 outreaches. So does that make sense when I'm saying the difference between an outreach and a contact? The outreach is when you make the phone call, but they become a contact once there's two-way communication. So the launch list that I was just talking about in your Recipe for Success guide, that is the perfect place to start to make a big list of who you're contacting. So just out of curiosity, who here on this call has already started filling this out in your Recipe for Success book? Okay, that's fine. So here's your opportunity to do it. So when you schedule your call with your recruiter, you're going to be able to, or your director, you're going to be able to have some names on this and take a snapshot so that, we can work with you on this, because this is really important. We're doing the basics here. This is where you want to start. And a calendar. So whether you're someone who uses an electronic calendar or a paper calendar, you can also, there's like free calendars that you can print if you do mostly things from your phone, but you need to be able to see things like in a monthly view. You can go to scatteredsquirrel.com and print out a free calendar. But you want to go through and highlight or post stickers or circle all the dates that you are available to have a show. So before you do that, you actually have to put in your calendar all of the events in your life that you have to be at. So like if you have a luncheon that you're scheduled to be at, or if you have an evening event, anything, doctor's appointments, all of that, you schedule that in your calendar first, and then you circle or highlight the dates that you are available to do shows. And it's nice to use a highlighter so that you can kind of quickly see what your next available dates are. Some people will use a green highlighter to indicate that it's a date for a show. And if there's a name there, that means they've filled the date. So be sure to go through your calendar and mark, like I said, do all of your family obligations and all of that. And you can, if you are a color coding person that's like super visual, you can do like green for shows, orange for office times and times that you're going to, take time to follow up with people and do host coaching and close out shows and that kind of thing. You can do blue for training, which is things like this, or your coaching calls with your director, and pink for personal items like doctor's appointments and recitals and all of that kind of thing. So I want you to start filling your calendar right away, and then text or email your director with each booking you add, because we're going to want to know. So if you we want you to set a goal and let your director know so that we can celebrate your success. So if your goal is to have 3 shows in your first week on your calendar, or 3 shows in your first 2 weeks on your calendar, that's terrific. We want to know so that we can celebrate your successes. So remember that we don't have a business if we don't have shows on our calendar. So you want to make sure to spend your valuable time on booking your first shows. So there's a couple of you that have shows on your calendar already, and that's fantastic. And you want to fill at least 2 or 3 months with the number of shows that you want. So if your income goal is like $1,000 for the month, you're going to want to fill each month with at least, you want to be able to do at least 8 shows, right? But remember, we can expect that there'll be a couple of cancellations. So you might even really want to put 10 shows on your calendar, okay? You can do them. You can know that they're not necessarily all going to hold, or it might be the friend of someone who joins your team, in which case they're really going to want to do that show for their good friend. So if you need help with words of what to say to book your first shows, there is a booking training on PC University that is, because how you ask is important. And having a big ask is kind of critical to your success. So the more people you ask, the more successful you'll be. So much of what we do is a numbers game. And asking means one-on-one, and it requires a response. So avoid saying things like, let me know if. Right? You could say, hey, Susie, I'm really excited because I've just gotten started with the Pampered Chef, and I would love for you to be one of my first hosts. I thought of you because you love Pampered Chef, you love to cook, you're a foodie, whatever it is. And, you love to entertain with friends. What do you think? What do you think about gathering together some friends for a fun party? Right? So again, that kind of leaves it open-ended, where they can kind of think about it and answer. And when they say yes, you just open your calendar and you look at your green dates and you say, I so appreciate it. Let's compare calendars. Are you looking for a weekday or weekend? Or I do my parties on, like for instance, I do my parties on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, or Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Those are the dates I'm available. I didn't even used to be available Monday. So it was just Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And you say my next available date is, and that's important because that's going to help control your calendar. And some people are going to say no, and that's totally okay. And when you hear no, you can say, I understand. Would you be interested in attending a party in the future? I'm having my grand opening party at my house on such and such a date. I'm going to have some great giveaways and would love for you to come and bring a friend or two that I don't know. So that way, you're still like they're saying no to one thing, but you're giving them the opportunity to say yes to something else. So, there might be some objections, and we actually have some training on that as well. But just to go over some quick things here to give you some ideas for word choices, you might, especially this time of year, you might come across people saying, I don't have any time, I'm too busy. You can sympathize with them. I understand how you feel. I'm constantly wondering how I can fit another thing in. But what I have found is that having a Pampered Chef party is perfect for the busy person. All you have to do is invite a handful of friends, pick a few ingredients, and you will taste a new recipe and visit with your friends. What do you think about a girls' night out party? Another thing I like to say is, busy hosts make my best hosts because you know how to get things done. You know how to keep a schedule to make sure that everything gets accomplished, and you have to schedule in some fun. Otherwise, that doesn't happen either. So again, just other word choices. And some people might say, oh, I've tried to have parties before, but no one comes. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way when I've hosted parties in the past. I've felt the same way when I've hosted parties in the past. But what I found is that when you invite your friends and family and ask them to bring 1 or 2 friends, then you end up with a nice crowd, and not to mention a great party, right? So these are, different ideas. If you've got, are any of these things that you've heard when talking to people about parties? Not really. Okay. This is one that I just got. My house is too small. That is something that comes up, and again, you want to sympathize with people. I understand how you feel. I have had hosts who felt the same way. But what they have found is that we don't really need that much room at all. We just need a table to work around. And most of my successful parties are done in small apartments or small homes. So do you have a small table or island that we can work around? Or you can say, I understand how you feel. I have hosts that felt the same way, but what they found is that they usually could find a friend that would allow them to do the show at their house. Do you have a friend that would like to co-host with you? So there's more than one option. So you're probably going to want to, read this again or hear this again. But I just want you to know that there are word choices. These are normal responses to come from people, and they don't need to stop you in your tracks. So the other thing I want to just make sure, and I really need to end this, and I apologize. I know that this is run a little bit long. But I want to make sure that you've gone to, that you've set up your website and your order payment and your direct deposit account. Do you guys know what I'm talking about when I say those things? Some of you do. Yes. Okay. Okay. So that's super important. We got to make sure that you've gone and done that. And then there's also a video on how to set up a show in PC University. I want to make sure that you've done that, because you want to make sure that you're setting up your shows properly on your website and finding that shopping link, that unique shopping link, right, for your hosts. You also I want to make sure that you're using your Recipe for Success training for your next training on host coaching and recruiting and at your cooking show, because there's great information here about that. There's also a lot of resources on our team Facebook group for those things as well. So make sure that you're added. You should be added to the team page, to your director's page. If you have any questions about that, please make sure you reach out. And the other thing I really want to encourage you to do is to sign up to attend at least 3 shows of your director or your recruiter. That is the best training you can get. And if you can't attend live, there are videos that are available on the team page. There are videos that are on PC University. But really, being there live is going to be your greatest training that you can do. So if you can contact your director by letting them know you've completed this training, by sending them a picture of your goals, and you can email them or text them with every booking you add by sending an updated tracker. So I just want to really quickly give you the opportunity to ask some questions. I'm going to unmute everybody. I know a couple of people have had to jump off here, but I just wanted to make sure that if you have a question, that I'm able to answer that today. Are there any questions?
No, because I haven't received
your kit yet.
No.
Okay. Awesome.
But I will when I get it, I will.
I know. I'm excited that you're here. Is there anyone else that has any questions? Okay, I'm going to end the recording.